do an overview of Yorkshire Terriers. First of all, Yorkshire Terriers is the #1 selling animal in the world for the last 5 years. So if you don't like Yorkies, it's time to snap out of it and start liking Yorkies. I love Yorkies. This is really good money and an awesome little breed, but you need to understand the breed. First of all, most of the people that own this breed are a little bit high maintenance. They bought this breed because they want long hair and they want a little bow because they saw it on the internet. That's what they want. And I realize, especially groomers that have been grooming a long time, the drop coats are very difficult. That's completely opposite of what we were doing this morning. We have 3 little doggies on here. This is the show version. Obviously, this isn't going to be for everybody. We're going to start here. We have a whole bunch of pictures, too. So we'll go through at the same time. This is a Bjork. This is a really nice little breed. They're from Russia. They're very, very popular right now. It is like a little Yorkshire Terrier. They're considered sort of part of the Yorkshire Terrier family. They come in this markings. He's gorgeous, but just a lot of you probably never even seen one. So we thought that, I know, right? No, I know. But they're so beautiful, and I do love the markings. They're not recognized in North America, but they certainly are becoming very popular. And this is just a regular little commercial Yorkie bear. He's just little Copper. We groom him all the time. Well, we changed his name to Copper. His real name is Chomper, but he's not a Chomper. She's just going to do the yellow, which is the 0. And that's a really nice choice on a drop coat of this size, just all over. All right, so if you're going to do the show Yorkshire Terrier, you want to make sure, first of all, there's a couple of things with Yorkies. Get them clean. I just have to say, this is so clean, Joanne. Thank you. I'm so much of a freak. Even I don't want you touching the hair once it's been done. I didn't want the Yorkies washed at 6 o'clock this morning so that I could groom them for you right now because there's no point. They look terrible. They have that kind of hair. So keep that in mind when you're working on them. I always like, oh, it's so cute. Don't do that. You're adding the oil from your hand to the animal immediately. It's a nightmare. So I want to make sure they're properly. What I normally do when the commercial dogs will come in, I just have a thing of baby powder cornstarch mixed, and I put it on their ears and their head and all the way down their back before I even wash them. I like to use the Dirty Beast, Wall Dirty Beast, or also the tea tree, because a lot of them have a lot of bad dandruff and creepy skin. Both those products work really well. Wash them a minimum of 2 times, sometimes 3 times. They are very greasy. I generally use a little bit of detergent. I like Dawn because it's good for the baby ducks and good for the environment. That is the only reason I picked that one. I would only use it just in the little tips of the ears. I am not trying to tell anybody in here that you should use dish soap. I'm just saying a slight amount of detergent just as a degreaser. The pH balance on dogs, it's important that you do use a proper shampoo. With one in this length, I would use less than a dime size of conditioner. Just to take, it's not weighting the hair down, just a light conditioner. Now, how do you get the hair so beautiful? Ooh, it looks lovely. First of all, she lives in wrappers most of her life. When you're going to put them on the table, put a little bed down so that their little bones aren't breaking. You don't, so that they can be a little bit comfortable. You got to use a spray. This is just the Artero anti-static spray. Awesome spray. If you don't keep it down, and you want to make sure you're not using something too weighted, or it'll become stringy. And this is a pin brush. You want to definitely use a pin brush on something like this. And we use a little straightening iron. This is also an Artero straightening iron. I use it on my own hair. Not today, though. I use the curling iron today. So you want to just run it down quickly, but not too many times because you can burn the hair right off. Stop. She's already had a little pre-iron, so we've already gone through underneath. Can you go to the ones with the long top knot pictures? So these ones are all the show dogs that they have going on there. You can see there's quite a difference, obviously. You have one? That would be awesome. I was trying to figure out how I'd do this without one. Now, it's just the very tips of the ears that you take off of them. I like to use a 40 blade. I actually have a little tiny Yorkie one at home, but I forgot to bring it with me. It's just the very tips of the ear. Yes. But a lot of you guys are taking 3/4 of the ear or something like that. It's just the very tips, like a Westie ear. Oh, thank you. And my mother just, oh, look at, she is my mother. A little headrest and a matching bow. Now, some people would just do her top knot the way it is right now, but you see it's a bit wet. You want to dry that. That's how you're going to get that pretty little face. If you just, it's like putting your makeup on with the booger in the eye. You got to do this. So. Now, I did use it. I know, that's a nice top knot, isn't it? It's beautiful. So this is actually for fleas. This doesn't work. I don't know. I don't ever got a flea with it once, but I just use it in here because it's the only comb I can find that really gets that little. And you really want to comb this stuff and get it all nice so that you get a nice even bubble. And there's sort of a little T that you're going to make here. Okay, so you want to keep the wicks. This is where the tear stain is going to run down. You're going to keep that straight down. Stop. Oh, good girl. Now, she's trained pretty nicely, this little girl. She's just a puppy, too. Come here. Come on. Lay down. This is just a little chin rest, you see? And if you teach them, you can use a paper towel roll. It doesn't have to be this fancy. This one's lovely, though. You need to use a couple little bands. It's okay. Come on. Lay down. Lay down. Good girl. Lay down. Stop. When I do it, I tend to pull it a little bit forward. And you want to get it fairly tight to the skin. And it's about 3 times that you're going to go around. And I actually pull it forward first. But you want to keep that rubber band tight to the skin, okay? Then you're going to go in a little inverted V on the back. And this one I'm putting the other way, backwards a little bit. Stop. If it was just a little puppy, one rubber band would be just fine. So now you've got your 2 rubber bands in. You're going to just pull this piece. You want to make sure it's straight. And once I have it in straight, I'm just going to take I hold on to a few pieces at the back of the top knot and pull it straight up. They have this stuff called sticky tacky, and it's great. It's like almost like liquid nail polish to get those little ends in here. Lay down. Yeah, I haven't finished the back one. I'm just doing the first one first. Now I'm going to pull the back one. And you want to put your bow in now, okay? Now is when you're going to put the bow in. I'm going to do this again in Shih Tzus, no worries. Yeah. And you know what? Everybody's a little different. I'm sure if Joanne came up here and did it, she'd be a little tiny bit different. Buzz could be very similar. You guys are all going to find your own way on this. If the dog had really big, ugly ears, you might take these and put them in there to bring their ears up. There's a lot of different things you might. If it had a really long nose, you might put a big old bubble on it. Can you tell there's a million schnauzers here? So once you have the bow on, now you're going to take these 2. Stop. You're okay. And you're going to put them together. And then they do this little dealio, like this. Now, what is the actual age where they start the braid? She's not really old enough for the braid. The length of it. Yeah, okay, so you see how she's got this little wee tail going on right now? We can just tuck this into her ears, but when the big boys, like him, yeah, you can't see it, but they would just braid this piece, and it just sort of like falls down the back of the neck. But right now, she doesn't really have a long enough top knot. She's all like just on the cusp. If I did it, it would just stick straight up. Okay? So that's the little Yorkshire Terrier show face. Now what you would do now, she would have her little leash on, say. And I usually trim their ears only when they have their top knot down. How about you? The ears, when you trim the ears. I like to trim their ears when the top knot's in because it's really easy to change it. It's easy to make a mess of it. Stop. So then what we do in here, just to cuten it up a little bit, just take in behind the mustache, if you just take your comb and you put a bit of ratting in there. And then you're just sort of picking it out with your brush on top of it. So now you're ready to just trim those little ears in, and just use your thinning shears for that. I learned this trick so long ago, and I was horrible at them. You just take this little ear, and you fold it in half, and the stuff that's hanging out on the side is what you trim off. And I think that it's just there to frame the face, so it's really, again, going to be an individual sort of thing. Also, it's going to be depending on the length of their head and so on. Stop. Okay, do you have questions about this one? No. Can you finish ironing her, Joe, for me? And I just want to go and work on this one, and then we'll I know, just come and iron it. That's why I'm not leaving her by herself. I just want a picture after it's done. Just iron this side so we can get a nice picture. We're getting the real Yorkshire Terrier special up here. There you go, Joe. Thank you. Just make one side pretty for the picture. So this is the little arsenal of stuff. You guys have to have this. First of all, it's fun. It's fun to have stuff like this. We got all kinds of accessories. These cost, I think, about 25 cents a piece. There's a reason why I do as many Yorkshire Terriers as I do. I spend 25 cents on each one of them. I make a lot of cash doing these dogs. You guys, if you can get those little Yorkie bag-wearing girls in your shop, they're going to give you $25 each time. This is a little Chomper. We do him in a little, this is really a little commercial haircut. We do it all the time. I'm going to let Jill work on his little feet because she's awesome at that, but I'm going to do his face. He gets a top knot, but he doesn't get that top knot. He gets this top knot, okay? So the same on him, I just do his little, I take my little flea comb and I'm just going to comb all that stuff out. And before I trim their heads, if I'm going to leave a top knot on it, I put the bow in first. It's okay, bud. And you're just going to pull it straight back. Now, with this guy, he gets the little front of his bang trimmed, and that happens all the time, right? Where they want the top knot, but they don't have, they want it cut in as well. You can still do that. There's no breed profile in commercial grooming. You don't, it doesn't matter. You just take the thinning shears, put your top knot in, trim it off. Don't use your straight scissors. So then when the bow comes out, they still have, you know, it still looks like a Yorkie. But look, like it doesn't look like I chopped straight. But if I would have chopped that straight off before I put the rubber band in, I wouldn't be able to do that. This is probably one of my most popular haircuts that I do. This haircut right here. I'm just gonna take the tips of his ears off. I picked him because he has one ear up and one ear down. Just that's why. They come with long ear, they come with ears up and down, both. Can you see if they can be dealt with, please? Okay, so then the other biggest problem that I see you guys doing on these is you're cutting them with the straight scissors. I never touch them with the straight, ever. Ever. I use my fishtails. So you're just gonna take my little, and I like this breed to have a roundish face. When I grew up, everybody did them in the Snorky. Well, I know now why they did them in the Snorky. Nobody wanted to scissor the buggers. And they didn't have the snap-on attachments. So those two problems have changed. We have the equipment to be able to deal with these now. So I usually take my coarse fishtails across first and make it, you want to draw the line to the outside of the ear. Just turn him this way. There we go. So I set up my two sides. And then I go back with another pair of thinning shears after. So once I like the length that I've set down here, I take the tip of my ear, I fold it in half, I comb out both sides, and I just continue this line. This takes a bit of work. The problem that I found when I was personally doing it, I used to go in here, and then I'd have this. So it's important that this line goes like here. On this side, I have to turn the head this way for me to be able to see it properly. This is exactly the same way as a trim a Westie head too. I think the key things for you to remember about when you're trimming these guys is that they're a drop coat. You're never going to scissor it like a poodle. So it's drop coat, that means you have to comb it down. Okay, and you need to use your thinning shears, your chunkers, and your sprays. Those are gonna really be, and get them clean. Half of the time they're not clean. If you don't think it's clean, scream at your bather, put it back in the bathtub and do it again. That's what you need to do. I actually bath almost all the Yorkies myself because I think Jill and Sammy and Joanne can get them clean enough. That's what I think. Like, I'm not much of a freak about it because how much of a difference does it make? It's all the difference. It's everything. And especially on these breeds, they're very difficult. Especially on the whole dog, though. I mean, the dog is so difficult, and it's such a tiny breed. If you give it 4 baths, it couldn't possibly take you more than 10 minutes in the bathtub. You know, so I just don't understand. I just need a bowl. Where did I put the, oh, I took it with me. Chomper. That's right, you said it right, a Bjork. Yeah. So once I have the little bow in, I usually just take the little Christmas tree and then take my thinning shears and take the ends off of it. Okay, you finish up his front legs. I'm gonna grab the other one and then we'll get them all up here. So all I did was just take the curved scissors at the very end and cut off my holder and just trim in the bottom of it. But you have to set it up with your layers in there on these guys or it never looks nice. Do you want to just hold her on your knee and I'll get the other Asian fusion one and I'll do it and then we'll just take a group picture after? Can you just hold it and then I'll get the Asian?
Yes, I can.
Awesome, thanks. I just have to grab one more dog. We have one Asian fusion Yorkie for you. What is the Asian fusion Yorkie? A Yorkie? I am gonna kill those girls. Jesus Christ. Kill those girls. Where's the girls? Are you going to do him with a round face and the bow on the side? And the bow on the side? Awesome. Can we talk about that quickly then?
Yep, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk about this one very quickly. This is our other favorite way that we learn. I'm just going to buzz it off and then Sam's going to do it. I really wish I knew this a long time before I did. The day I did, I was like, hallelujah. I don't know. So you just want to, and when you're going to do this, go long first. It's easier to take it off after. You can't put it back on. You can just take your snap-on, go with the hair, take it off hard. You can tip it forward this way. I'm using a longer snap-on attachment with it though, right? This one's not going to get a bow in the top notch. You can put a cute bow in the ear. Just give me a pair of scissors. I just want to cut the front line on the bag. I just want to show you that we're not really even trimming anything. I can just actually simply just take one line across the front of its eyes. And by having these little snap-on attachments, how much it's going to improve your work. I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room has seen worse trimmed Yorkie heads walking around the streets, right? I'm just saying. Okay, so these little snap-ons, we're just taking a little line across the front of the eyes there, are quite lovely. Oh, you're so cute. So glad you brought him. He's adorable. I love this breed. Okay, carry on. Let me give him a cute bow. This is our little Asian fusion guy. This man made me laugh. He's so awesome. He had seen a couple of Yorkshire Terrier pictures, and he's like a big guy that owns the dog. It's okay, he's so scared. And he's like, I want Asian fusion. And I was like, I so did not see that coming. And then when I asked him, I know, like, I'm like, and then I did it. I said, you might not like it. And then I asked him, he's like, you want my dog for the demonstration? Thank you. He's like, he's so scared. But you know what? This dog is a good example because he is really scared. He's really, really scared. And everybody thinks that, you know, oh, I couldn't. And you guys are all groomers. You got to do what, this dog is terrified. He's doing great up here, right? And I just think that a lot of it is about the way you are with the animals. I've known some mean groomers in my life, some really mean groomers in my life. And I think a lot of it is the way you are. Calmness is going to be key. If I was like all over the place, this dog would just about pee his pants, right? He gets very nervous. Good boy. So I just go slowly with him. I just take my time with him. You're a good boy. He says, there's all these people there, Shauna. I wasn't really good with you. So what I've learned on the Asian Fusion Yorkies, that if you leave the tips of the ears on it, it looks really horrible. So I don't. I just take the very tips of it off again because it seems to lie in nicely then. No, I think it's almost like a mite, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know, because it's weird, because my Chihuahua will get that weird skin, like the leathery skin. Is that what you're talking about? You know, the only thing that I've found is if I use the emu oil and I just like sort of like that shampoo and I massage it really well, and it's been working because she gets bald ears all the time, so I don't really know. Do they? Try the emu on it. It's okay, bud. You're okay. This one's a number 1. I just wanted to show these two are pretty similar little guys. They just have different hair or head trims. So I'm just doing him with a shorter snap-on the body. Plus, I don't normally keep him in big, huge Asian legs because his dad doesn't brush him very often. So I keep him in Asian ears, but... It's okay, buddy. A lot of the dogs that I brought for you guys this weekend, I tried to think, because I think one of the biggest complaints I get, oh, well, it's all perfect. Oh, it's always perfect. Oh, the demonstration dogs are always perfect. These are real dogs from my shop or her shop. Like, they're real. Like, this is Frank's dog. That's Darcy's dog. They're nobody special. They're just nice little dogs that I wanted to bring. And some of them, like that little Schnauzer girl, I brought her because she does have all those problems. I wanted you guys to see both. Now you notice on these little guys, I can get away with using the cordless clippers on almost the whole dog. I can't do that with the big dogs. I need to go, you know, with the big clippers as well. But on these little guys, these things are a godsend. I usually like to shave off the body 3 times. All right. So him too, he gets a little top knot. What color will you be in, boy? What did I give you? Him blue. Yorkies, all the Yorkie people think that they should only wear red bows, just so you know. Don't they? Yorkies wear red bows. I guess I think it's mostly important that you treat them the way that they've been treated by their families, right? I think that most people misunderstand that this is like, they're treated like my kid, like they're overindulged, okay? These children have everything. They get a Prada bag before they're 1 year old. She came with Dugs. Like she came with Uggs, but they're Dugs. I know. And you should see her bag that she comes in. It's quite funny. So I think if you change maybe the way that you think about them, you'll start to enjoy them a little bit more. I remember I was at a demonstration once with a girl and we were doing Yorkies and she got on the stage and the first thing she says, I hate Yorkies. I just looked at her, I was like, I love Yorkies. I love Yorkshire Terriers and I just don't think that that's the right way to start the day with anything, right? They're intimidating because it's difficult hair to work with. They're intimidating because their mothers are very rich and usually angry. And they're just like looking to complain. You know, so once you figure those 2 things out, you're going to be so much further ahead. First of all, when the Yorkie lady walks in, you'll be like, did you get your hair done? Of course she did. She's a Yorkie owner. She'll be like, wow, she cares, okay? That's the first thing you got to say to them. Then, you know, and if they're scared, then just try to get close to them. Get them under your arm and talk to them. Get them close to you. If they can, because that's the only place they know. They are on the breast from the day they're born. But I think that if you start to think about them, do you have any advice on Yorkshire Terrier grooming and how? Joanne was the very first person I ever worked for, and she's also an expert at this particular breed. And I've just put her on the spot, and she has nothing to say. So apparently, I know everything she ever had to teach me about Yorkies. I did great. Okay. Sorry, Joe. So if you do have people that want to use or do the Asian fusion, you just need to pick the cooler, the ones that be like, oh, and have a couple pictures on your phone. It's easily enough to get a picture or something on your phone to show them. You need to explain to them that there's going to be a transition in the time from when you start grooming it, right? So I'm going to just do all this with the thinning shears too. Actually, you could take it off with a snap-on too. You could start it with a snap-on. I am so proud of him. He's doing so well. You're doing great. I wish your dad was here. This is really popular in Asia right now, obviously. Well, in Asia, but I laugh because it was North America that called it Asian fusion. Because every time I go over there, I was like, did you know that everybody in North America wants to do your haircuts, right? You know what? All I can say is that this is obviously not breed profile. I'm so all over all the weirdness. I'm possibly one of the weirdest people alive. So I like to think that that dog has that haircut, and this dog has that haircut, and that dog. I'm glad that every single person in here has a different look. Because if we were all the same, we would just live in the beigest world ever, right? Life is full of shiny things. Why can't you think outside of the box? As I say, when you're going to make mistakes, these two will tell you. They've been my student a long time. They'll tell you. You can't beat yourself up. You sprinkle your sparkle dust on, and you carry on, right? That's all you can do is learn from your mistakes. The other thing is that in this industry, it is constantly changing, like constantly. In my time in this industry, things have changed. From poodles, let's say for poodle haircuts, night and day. Schnauzers, my haircut from Schnauzers even 10 years ago is different than it is today. Probably the worst thing people can do is just be like, I know everything, I'm great. Do you know that, like when I started grooming, I had to start with the Oster's, that one, whatever, the A5. It was a heavy, that was all that was available though. And Ivory liquid to wash the dog, we didn't even have shampoo. There wasn't proper shampoo. So now we have every single product available. And I think that products are important. This is another thing that Yorkies get are these long whiskers. I always just nip those little whiskers out. They wreck my face. Okay, so you have your little face in, then the ears. This is your longest point. And this was a learning curve for me as well, because when I first grew his ears out, I grew them out with the tips, and then he looked awful. I didn't like it at all. So then when I shaved his tips off, I was like, oh, I like that much better. So the same as what I've already shown you. You just fold it in half. Stop. We're doing a little bit of Asian fusion in the Shih Tzu segment as well. I love it, actually. So I know, I know. I'm so glad you guys are here. A lot of people think I'm insane. I love little weirdo stuff like this. I always laugh because I used to breed poodles and Shih Tzus, and Joanne bred Yorkies, and anyway, we all had our little dogs. Well, we were doing Asian fusion before it was cool. We was just our weirdo haircuts, right? We were like leaving all this big. I was like, hey, so it's just, it's what maybe looks good on one particular dog or another as well, right? This might not work so well on every dog. On Chomper, it might be hard because look, he's got one ear up and one ear down. Like just for an example. Oh, you look so nice. And honestly, it probably took about 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months to get him in proper ears. Because he used to be in something like that, like a little bit shorter than that, right? And it's funny too, because his sister's not in this. His dad doesn't want that. It's only for him. He's the only one that get Asian fusion. All right, how you doing, girls? You getting there? How you doing, Sam? One thing that I do on a lot of commercial dogs, people are like, oh, it's matted. It's got 2 mats in its armpits. You can shave the armpits out. Nobody will ever know. Ever. Stop. All right. Come here, buddy. You okay? Okay. There's some beautiful Asian fusion pictures up there too. Yeah, that's a friend of mine, Michael Zhang, and he's from China. And I asked him, and he always does like the beautiful portrait with it too. Like it had to be done. Had to be done. And he breeds poodles as well. So I love that little Maltese too, though. I like Michael's style. One problem I have with some of the Asian fusion, and every time I'm there teaching, I say the same thing, is that what a lot of them doing is missing the balance. They get a beautiful face. They shave the body with a 7 or a 10 blade and don't even touch the legs. Sometimes the nails haven't been cut in a long time, so I'm like, okay, you're so creative and so stylish. So I think that that's part of what Global Groomers can do, is that we can all share around the world of our information, right? Come on, Dad. You're okay. Yours, what do you want? I don't know. The bows? All right. Look at how cute that is. I know. Okay, well, I can hear in the crowd that you guys are having a little bit of Yorkie love here, so I'm liking that. Is it okay to say that we love our Yorkies a little bit more now? Good. I have heard it more often than not that there's no Yorkshire Terrier love, actually. I'm bringing Yorkie back. Yeah. That goes, exactly. And it's the cutest thing ever. They love that. I had a lady the other day interview me for half an hour before I got to groom a Yorkie. Then, no wait, before I even got to book the appointment, I said, well, go to Global Groomers. You can go online and check me out. She gets back on the phone and she says, you're a big deal. I was like, okay. I still had to go through another 45 minutes before I booked the appointment. Then I got to meet her and I get to actually do the dog next week after I've done this, just so she can make sure that I can do it. But I laughed so hard about her because I actually told her, I was like, I'm going to talk about you on Sunday. I'm just doing it. Because you make me laugh out loud. But there's other things as well. Like we have the dematting brushes that we have. Our wall D-knot is amazing. That stuff is amazing. Number 2, but a 2 is short, but it's better than a 7. Well, both. I mean, sometimes it's both, right? But I mean, I think the whole thing that people need to understand is there has to be a communication. First of all, there's a new groomer down the street. Psst. So if you're not stepping up, they're going to leave you and go to somebody else. Somebody in this room was just telling me about a dog that did that today. It happens to everybody, okay? It's going to happen. It's a customer service. If you girls go to get your nails done or your hair done or something, and someone makes you angry, you go because that's something special. You don't want to feel like you're being rushed. You don't want to feel like you're being put to the back of the bus. I would go bananas if I had those, hairdressers and that just drive me crazy. You want to go for a positive, happy experience. Not every single person is going to go along with every single dog or with the owners. We've all had customers that we have problems with. I've had lots, for sure. Everybody has. I remember one time I went out and I said it was a Labrador for nails. She needs to go to Jenny Craig. Well, I've never. Like, oh, apparently that was the wrong choice of words. I could have told her she was fat. I thought that was pretty nice. Are you done? It's true. We're almost done, Jill. You can start clearing up and then we can picture it up. Joanne, can you go and join her on that table and brush that down and get it ready for a photo? Can you use a blue bowl? Because then it would be red, blue, red, blue. Because you know I'm weird like that. Yeah, just to share the tables. Yeah, we're going to just share the table because I don't have an extra table. Yeah, sorry, you're right. Just if you can brush it and get it all ready for a showroom and stack it for the show picture. Do you need a leash, Joe? Because she can hold that if you want. Like, she can just hold it if you want to use that. Just give Joanne the arm. Yeah, but give her the noose on the arm. Okay. I don't care. You can come on my table. It doesn't matter. Oh, you got blue. You got to come on my table. I'll put the red one here. You can go right beside me. Let's just get this shit off the table first. It's okay, little one. You're doing fine, honey. All right, do we have any questions about the Yapping About Yorkies? What did you think of that name? There's not a lot of Y names to go with that, you know. Yapping About Yorkies. It's okay, darling. All right, yeah. Point him this way so you can get the face. Guess what? It's your favorite time. Picture time. Oh, just a second. Get all this shit off the table. You ready, Sam? Get your stuff off the table. I'm so darn proud of you, buddy. You did great. It's okay. Yes, of course. Can someone bait them, please?